Is Corey Davis a must start in week 5? And should you seriously consider benching and even dropping Allen Robinson? All that and more this episode of the Locked On Dynasty Football Podcast.
You are Locked On Dynasty Football, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Here are your hosts, Marcus Mosher and Kate Magdziuk.
Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. Welcome into the Locked On Dynasty Football Podcast, everybody. I am Kate Magdziuk, joined as always by my beautiful co-host, Marcus Mosher. You can follow him on Twitter at Marcus_Mosher. Give me a follow at FFBallBlast. And don't forget, hit that subscribe wherever you're listening to your podcast. Do not miss out on an episode. I'm begging you, hit that subscribe button so that you can build the ultimate dynasty team along with us. And check us out on YouTube. Don't forget that. Give us a little thumbs upsies and enjoy those wins in your fantasy leagues. Marcus, I don't, I'm gonna scrap that call to action because we're just going to cancel football the rest of the season, I think, after week 5 Thursday night football. What are your thoughts?
That was the worst primetime game I think I've ever seen in my life. But if you are like me and you enjoy watching bad football and you're going to watch every single second of it, congratulations. We get the Broncos again next week in primetime on Monday Night Football. And then the following week, we get the Commanders and Titans Thursday. Can't wait, Kate. Can't wait.
Marcus.
That's why there's not going to be enough coffee in the world today to keep me awake. It was a rough night.
Yeah, I think we all lost sleep after that one. I don't know, Marcus, that I've ever seen such bad football. I don't know that I've ever seen two teams who really thought that they were about to answer their question at quarterback. Like it seemed like they thought this was going to be a lock, that Russell Wilson was the last missing piece, that Matt Ryan could be the last missing piece. But it turns out that they just traded away a 3rd round pick for the Colts and made a lateral move for Carson Wentz, who somehow washed more Carson Wentz. These teams are a disaster.
Let's start with Russ. What was the worst part of the night for you for Russell Wilson?
I mean, it's got to be the last play of the game, Marcus. Right? You know what? I don't know. There were so many bad moments, right? There was the interception in the end zone that quite nearly sent Richard Sherman to the mental hospital.
I get it because they were up by 3 at that point in field goal range. All they need to do is just hold on to the ball, kick a field goal, and they win that game because there is no way the Colts are scoring a touchdown.
Nope. Like that was a bad moment. But I mean who was it? KJ Hamler, literally.
Yep, in the last play of the game. Yep.
Last play of the game, wide open, but Russell Wilson was very much determined as hell to throw the ball to, I think it was Cortland Sutton. There was no read there. It was just a gut check reaction for Russell Wilson, and we're not seeing Russell Wilson do Russell Wilson things. But I will also say, Marcus, that this team is not making plays for Russell Wilson the way that we saw Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf make plays.
I agree. And that's the biggest takeaway for me is Russell Wilson was bad. Actually, the worst moment was in the press conference yesterday. I don't know if you saw this, but
I didn't.
He left his jersey and all this stuff on 45 minutes after the game and did the press conference. And as he was leaving the end of the press conference, he said, "Broncos country, let's ride."
No.
Yeah, he did. But the problem is Cortland Sutton 5 for 74. I mean, it's whatever, right? But it's everybody else. Jerry Jeudy was 3 for 53, but until going into overtime, Kate, he had one catch in this game. KJ Hamler, 1 catch for 10 yards. Alberto, 1 catch for 5 yards. Everybody has, from a fantasy, perspective, regressed compared to what they had last year with Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. It's unbelievable how little Russell Wilson has been able to elevate these guys. In fact, he's he's actually decreased their fantasy value. It's insane.
And like Marcus, I'm not sure like what to make of this entire team until we get Nathaniel Hackett the hell out of Denver. I just like get him as far away from this team as possible. I think actually like in that moment when they were like driving towards the end of the game, they looked good. They were moving quickly. They had some tempo. But that's not like the kind of offense that Nathaniel Hackett seems to want to run. But that was their best shining moment of the game was when they were moving more quickly. But that again, I think Nathaniel Hackett is a barrier there. Get a coach that wants to play with some tempo, and get a coach that wants to play, and get Russell Wilson. Like I don't. He still feels like, but he's still like Russell Wilson to me. Like still feels like the second option on this team somehow. I don't know. This is a weird team. This is weird vibes.
Let me ask you this before we start talking about this upcoming week. Who is more redeemable? Like who can you save? Matt Ryan or Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and I agree. Like I still think Frank Reich is a pretty good coach. I just think Matt Ryan's cooked it, especially with that offensive line. Like the offensive line's bad. I feel like if the Broncos can get the right coach in there, and it's certainly not Nathaniel Hackett, maybe he can be revived a little bit. But yeah, it's. I mean, we've seen some bad coaches before the league. Jim Tomsula, Freddie Kitchens, Nathaniel Hackett's up there.
Nathaniel Hackett is up there, and I just don't. You went all in to get your franchise quarterback in Russell Wilson, and I don't know why the Broncos would really be wasting much time any longer. Figure it out at head coach, because I do think that Russell Wilson is still Russell Wilson. Like you might have to sort of, dig through the weeds a little bit.
You got to really squint to see that.
You had to really squint, and when you do finally get Russell Wilson into the focus, he's like eating burritos and it's really cringy. But like, I do think that there is like value there for Russell Wilson. Now, from a dynasty perspective, real quick, because that is why we are here. Not just to poop on this terrible matchup, but Marcus, like Russell Wilson, not great for fantasy at this point. But again, switch out a head coach maybe that can get a little bit more oomph going for this offense. Are you willing to target Russell Wilson in a trade right now?
No. No, I mean, we know he's going to be in Denver for the foreseeable future. I just posted a tweet that his cap hit in 2028 is $54.5 million. So he's going to be there for a while. But no, I feel like this is a sinking ship that I want to get off of right now. And listen, I know you're going to be selling low if you try to trade him right now, but I don't care. I don't care because he hasn't given you any startable weeks so far. I don't see things changing anytime soon. He's a short quarterback who is losing his athleticism. I just want out. I want out.
He actually finally showed some legs yesterday on Thursday Night Football. Like had a couple of nice runs. Like maybe if we pepper a few more in, I'm not totally out on Russell Wilson just yet. But again, I get it. I 100% get it. But
we have the quarterbacks who are being like drafted and ranked next to him. I've got him right here.
We can, yeah.
Because it's. I mean, to me, this is obvious. So Russell Wilson, going into the month, was ranked as QB 11. Kate, you're gonna have a hard time convincing me to take some of these quarterbacks not over him. Deshaun Watson, give me Watson. Trey Lance, give me Lance. Even after the injury, Fields, Stafford, Rodgers, Tua, Derek Carr, Zach Wilson, Kirk Cousins. I'm taking all those guys over Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Can you pick it?
No. Have some respect for yourself.
I'll take it. I can't do it. I can't do it, Kate.
Okay. No, but I think like there is a line that I need to draw for myself. Like Zach Wilson. This comes back to me believing that Russell Wilson is a better quarterback. Like we've seen it. We know he's a better quarterback. His confidence is low. His chemistry with the team is low. He's with a bad coach, but those are things you can redeem. He's still with two very, very talented wide receivers in Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. I do think Jerry Jeudy has not looked fantastic either, but I still think that the assets are there for a productive fantasy quarterback. Like, you bring up Trey Lance, what is Trey Lance's career going to look like at this point?
I don't care.
We have no idea.
I'll take the chance. I will take the chance. All right, we've got to move on and start talking about some other players here in week 5. But before we do that, we want to tell you about SimpliSafe. All right, here's a sports analogy for you. When it comes to burglars, your home is like the end zone. Oh, jeez, it's weird talking about the end zone after Broncos Colts, but oh well. You need the absolute strongest defense you can muster. That's why we use and trust SimpliSafe Home Security. At SimpliSafe, your safety is the only thing that matters. It's cutting-edge technology powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who always have your back so that you know your home is always safe. With the professional monitoring, SimpliSafe agents call you the moment a threat is detected, and they dispatch police or first responders in emergency, even if you're not home or you can't be reached. SimpliSafe blankets your home in protection with advanced sensors for every room, window, and door. They have HD security cameras for inside and outside your home. They have smarter ways to detect motion that only alert you when a threat is real, not when just some animal walks by your house, and even hazard sensors that instantly detect fires, floods, and other threats to your home. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplisafe.com/lockedonnfl. Save 20% on your SimpliSafe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan and get your first month absolutely free. Visit simplisafe.com/lockedonnfl to learn more. There is no safe like SimpliSafe. All right, Kate, who is in for a make or break week here in week 5?
All right. So this is a player that we're probably not even going to see in week 5. I'm like 900% sure that we won't. But I want to talk about Kadarius Toney. And this is
this is the most depressing podcast we've ever done together.
I know. I'm so sorry. Just a disaster for Kadarius Toney. I think this is a make or break point in his career. Former first round pick, Kadarius Toney now tweaks his hamstring. He doesn't even make the trip to London, Marcus, which excuse me. We saw who was it a couple weeks ago that didn't make the trip? Oh my gosh, my brain is broken. And then showed up to the game. I don't think Kadarius Toney is going to be on a plane to London anytime soon, right? Like, he's not gonna.
No, he's not traveling.
He's not traveling. So I think we have to basically rule him out at this point. Now he's got a hamstring issue. What do we do with Kadarius Toney? Because he may be the one receiver who everybody is so all in on in terms of talent, but he is, to this point, been probably the worst asset, in terms of health, in terms of just weird issues, like the cleat issue. Kadarius Toney is in a make or break point in his career, not just for your fantasy rosters, but what do you do with Kadarius Toney? You just, I guess, hold him. Are you buying low? The upside's there.
No, I'm probably not. It does feel like we are getting to the point where the Giants are going to consider just moving on, right?
They were already there. They were already having this conversation last year.
It's just to the point where he can't stay healthy. He can't even get through a practice without getting hurt. We should remember that this front office, this coaching staff did not draft him in the first round, as you mentioned. So I wouldn't be surprised, Kate, if it's this at the trade deadline or this offseason, he gets flipped to a team like the Chiefs or Baltimore, some team that needs a little bit more speed on their offense for a late round pick, and that team adjust expectations and they just think of him as a wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, and not as a first round receiver. I think I'm out.
Yeah. definitely out, and it hurts. It hurts my
It hurts
heart.
because he's talented. We know that he is like super dynamic with the football in his hands. Like he could be an awesome player if he was able to stay healthy. If he was a little bit more committed to learning the playbook, but that just hasn't been the case. And I think he's always going to be one of those players that we're wondering about.
Yeah, super, super, super unfortunate.
Yep. All right. Next one, Allen Robinson. We were having a little discussion before the show about what do you do with Allen Robinson. He's been absolutely dreadful this season. 24 points, PPR points through 4 games. Kate, if he puts up another stinker, let's say a 2 for 13 game, do you even think about dropping him if you're in a dynasty league with short benches? And because I just don't see it happening with him anytime soon.
I mean, I still think you make the move to try to trade him and get something back, because I do think that, Marcus, like, we're still talking about Allen Robinson, who's been like super, super, super disappointing. But I also think that, like, let's not forget, he still has name value. Like, am I saying he should be in your starting lineup? Absolutely not. But I'm saying he has enough name value that don't straight drop him. Let's test the market. I still think he's worth a stash. Although, like, I will say, the like response from Sean McVay when asked about like getting Allen Robinson involved, he's like, I mean, that's kind of like out of our control. Like, no, it is in your control. Like, design some plays to get the ball in Allen Robinson's hands. Like, you're the coach. Like, it was weird. I don't know, Marcus. I'm still in on Allen Robinson, but like, I'm totally out. I just think he's a stash. I don't think he's a buy. I think you just hold him if you have him.
You hold him and you either wait for an injury, you wait for something to change, you wait for his role in the offense to get bigger, you wait for Stafford to maybe get healthier. I get it. I'm shopping him right now, and if I can't get any takers, I'm thinking about dropping him outright and picking up somebody who's actually helping me right now. Especially again, I'm in a couple dynasty leagues, Kate, where the benches are only like 5 or 6 bench spots, which makes it really, really hard where you can't really afford to stash guys that aren't producing and that are, kind of past the apex of their career. I want to hear from our listeners. What do you guys do with Allen Robinson? Are you holding? Are you stashing? Are you selling? Let us know. Anybody else from week 5 that you're kind of keeping an eye on?
I want to keep an eye on Jared Goff, Marcus, who's
Ooh,
like he's the only quarterback actually in the NFL who's thrown for 4 more touchdowns in 2 of the 4 first weeks of the season. He's playing well. Like, we talked about, this whole, like, these quarterbacks who we thought were going to make an impact. Like, the Rams thought that Matthew Stafford was going to be their impact, and he was. But it's kind of interesting that in the second season of this trade, Jared Goff actually looks like the better quarterback.
I mean, he
Top,
is right now. There's not even a debate, right?
I no, I don't think there is. He's playing as the better quarterback. This is literally the top offense in the
Yeah.
NFL, which is like absolutely insane in points per game and yards per game. Like, I'm kind of curious. We see Jared Goff keep this up? We're gonna have a matchup against the Patriots this week, which is, defensively one of the tougher matchups. But
I feel like we're going to learn a lot in this game because I don't know if Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to play. I don't think DeAndre Swift is going to play. And we know New England has a good defense, right? Like,
it didn't matter last week, though, which
it
is
didn't
the
matter.
craziest part.
I think this is a tough one because it's at New England, I believe, against a defense that's really fundamentally sound. Not a lot of big names, but just fundamentally sound. If Jared Goff can go into New England and put up big numbers, I'll be convinced. Like, because you're not going to really play very many defenses better than that all season long. I
He's a
agree
top
with you.
5 fantasy quarterback right now, like
I,
literally a
I
top 5 fantasy quarterback.
absolutely, I agree with you.
I'm really wondering, is this the week? And let's talk about another quarterback who's playing really well right now, Geno Smith.
Yeah,
Uh,
same thing.
we've got a matchup. He's also on the road this week, going up against the New Orleans Saints, and I think that everybody, like, if you called this kind of performance for Geno Smith, your name was probably Geno Smith, and that was it. Like that was the only.
Maybe Pete Carroll.
I don't even know if Pete Carroll expected all of this, but I mean, he's playing at a super high caliber right now, especially in comparison to what you actually expected. But like Marcus, let me tell you. So I am in a keeper league where we do a supplemental draft and there's no waivers, but I just had to make a decision in my league. Do I want to keep Matthew Stafford? Because he's literally, I think in that league, like the quarterback 24, like literally shooting me in the foot. And I did drop him, Marcus. Do you know who I dropped him for?
Jared Goff.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith. And I actually like that's what's crazy, Marcus, is I feel better about Geno Smith as my quarterback right now. Obviously Geno Smith's not going to be my keeper, but 2 passing touchdowns in 3 of his 4 games, 300 passing yards in each of his last 2. He's completing, passes at a 77% clip. Like he's not doing too bad. So like I just want to say like maybe Geno Smith is that perfect addition for you in these like 2 quarterback leagues. Because you probably have to sneeze and present like your tissue to the owner and they would take that as a swap.
All right, let's tell you guys about Bet Online. BetOnline.net is the #1 source for your football betting info this season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth articles and analysis on every game that you find. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all of your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. It is the fastest and the easiest way to check in on all of your favorite games and events, including NFL, NBA, MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to betonline.net or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Kate, let's run through promotion commotion before we head out. Who are a couple players that you are going to promote from your bench into your starting lineup?
All right. So, Marcus, I want to talk quickly about Mark Ingram, who's not like the deepest bench stash in the world, but didn't really do much for your fantasy teams last week when during the great Alvin Kamara kerfuffle of 2022. But last week had 10 carries, 30 yards, 3 catches, 13 receiving yards. So just not fantastic, but I am looking to potentially start him this week and give him another try against the Seattle Seahawks defense, who up against the run are really just getting gashed from a fantasy perspective. 4th most fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs. I think that regardless of even Alvin Kamara's status, we might be able to see some production out of Mark Ingram, and that's me giving you the vote of confidence to promote him back up, even if you got burned last week.
I love it. For me, it's Corey Davis. I saw enough from him last week against the Steelers, 5 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown to have me convinced on any key play in that game. 3rd downs, there was a 4th and 7. That was the guy that Zach Wilson was looking to throw to. And I think it's because they were using him not really in the slot, but on a lot of routes that were coming across the middle of the field. And I just think Zach Wilson likes his size and his ability to go up and make plays on the football. So against the Dolphins this week, who are likely going to be without Xavier Howard, or going to be without Byron Jones, he's probably going to get the 3rd corner on the Colts. Yeah, give me Corey Davis this week.
I really love that. I think that honestly, like we talk about, quarterbacks sort of locking in on a receiver. I do feel like Corey Davis is this comfort zone for Zach Wilson. And as long as Zach Wilson is a quarterback for the New York Jets, I think that Corey Davis has some upside. And again, not a sexy name based on the way we've gotten burned in the past, but I still think there's lots of opportunity there. I want to move over to the Tennessee Titans, Marcus, who they get the Washington Commanders, who are just getting gashed through the air. Just absolutely being obliterated by opposing wide receivers, allowing the second most fantasy points to the wide receiver position in the league. And Marcus, a lot of that's coming from touchdowns. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. You like it's literally a free for all. So let's talk about Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, who's ranked second in the team in offensive snaps right now at the wide receiver position for the Titans. Treylon Burks, banged up. Don't know what he's going to be, potentially offering or not. I think that has he been ruled out? Has he been officially ruled out?
Yes.
Yeah. So like we're not going to see Treylon Burks. Give me Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, who I think is going to see. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he leads this team in targets this week and has a really nice day against this Washington secondary.
I'm there with you. I normally give you a really gross one every week. I don't have one this week. I wish I did.
Marcus.
I mean, do you want?
Don't be so hard on yourself.
All right, fine. I'll give you a gross one. David Sills, for the New York Giants. Listen, if you are a degenerate and you are up early watching the London game, and you're watching a broken down Daniel Jones go up against the best pass defense maybe in the NFL in the Packers, why not start David Sills, as he's like one of the 3 healthy receivers for the Giants this year. Only 10 targets on the season. Wouldn't be surprised if he leads the team in receptions, yards, and touchdowns here in week 5. There you go. There's your gross play of the week.
That's the grossness I want when I come to this Friday show, Marcus. Thank you.
Yeah, so there you go. Actually, let me rephrase that. He's one of 2 healthy receivers because I just got word that Wan'Dale Robinson has been ruled out for week 5. So no Kadarius Toney, no Wan'Dale Robinson, no Sterling Shepard, no Kenny Golladay. It's David Sills time in London.
That's the grossest sentence I've ever heard.
All right, that is it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in. We want to thank you for making Locked On Dynasty your first listen every single day. Now make your second listen to Peacock and Williamson NFL show. Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Matt Williamson give you the expert NFL analysis in less than 30 minutes. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. All the same places that you download the Locked On Dynasty podcast. Follow Kate at FF Ball Blast. I am at Marcus_Mosher. We'll be back Monday to break down all the awesome action from week 5. Enjoy the games. We'll see you guys next time.